Hey everyone, this is Zach,
And this is Tara.
the creators of Long Gone Gulch. Thanks for coming to our Q&A. We got how many questions? So many?
We got hundreds of questions that we went through. Thank you for submitting them.
Everyone from Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, thank you so much. Quick little update, we hit 2 million views on the pilot.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching it. We're still trying to get some pre-orders in for the Rawhide figure.
Yes, the Rawhide figure made by our layout artist, Chris Seriotis. He did an outstanding job with the sculpt, and this was his personal project that he is trying to get to life, and we gotten a lot of pre-orders for it, but he's still bringing those in, and if you really want to help us or support us or to support Chris, it would be appreciative to get more.
Yep. And don't you just want a Rawhide figure also?
Yeah, and then if she does well and he sells out, we plan to make a snag one that he's already developed, and maybe in the future, maybe more. I'm sure he wants to make more.
Shall we get into it?
Yeah.
Alright, this is the drawing we're going to be doing. I'm just going to do probably like tighter drawing on top and then ink and color it. Hopefully we have time, but
Do it as fast as we can.
yeah.
As we go through the questions, just a little photo of the sheriffs and the mayor.
Looking cool. We like doing these, call them non-canon outfits, I guess.
Just for promo stuff, I guess.
Yeah, it's fun to see them in different outfits.
Alrighty, so the first question, and the one that's been asked the most, of course, is, will there be more Gulch?
And the answer is hopefully yes. We definitely want to make more. We definitely want to keep going with this project. We love it so much, and that is why we're gonna launch a Patreon.
We've been quiet, and we've been just thinking of a game plan and seeing where we're gonna be at, and the show is kind of in limbo since we're also pitching it. But in the meantime, we thought a Patreon's a good way to start so that we could develop to make more.
Exactly, yeah. So what we want to do is we want to start off by doing some kind of smaller projects,
Shorts, and we have other ideas and other original ideas we want to tackle too, so it won't just be Gulch, but it'll be a bunch of fun stuff that we've always wanted to do, and more support would lead to making more episodes of Gulch, so hopefully that's something everyone would want to see.
Again, we just want to continue making animated projects and also more Long Gone Gulch because we love this thing, and if you guys like it, then we want to make more.
Yeah, if we get enough support, we'll definitely make more episodes. We have at least 10 of them already planned out, but doing these smaller things to get you excited feels like the right thing to start off with.
And we'll show behind the scenes stuff for Gulch. We'll show what we're currently working on. You'll get
animation,
first looks at stuff.
Yeah, we'll show how the storyboards are and little tidbits of scenes we've constructed, and you can see how Zach keyframed something or anything that we're working on that isn't Gulch. You'll see beforehand before we post it online. So yeah. and
maybe more of these streams or Q&As, or if you guys like these.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to get more questions later, since this is the first time in a while we've spoken about anything.
Yeah, so if you guys want to support us, it's Lopside Animation. Link is below. But shall we get into the questions?
Sure. The first question is, how did you come up with Rawhide and Snag's character designs?
Good question.
When I think of character design, you always got to think how can you show the personality of your character within the design? We always think about silhouette and how to make a character fit with the other characters, so Snag and Rawhide shapes and how they benefit each other, and colors and all that. So yeah, I just really wanted to make a Pippi Longstocking, I don't know, a Western cowgirl, but not. I wanted a little twist with her, and little scrappy.
You like the scrappy characters.
Yeah, I love scrappy.
I think all of our characters are scrappy.
Yeah,
in
but I
some
love
way.
the girl scrappy character, and she's very, I don't know, feral too sometimes, but she has style. Like her long johns that she wears underneath are cool and different from like just a normal Western girl. So I don't know, it's just some aspects of some characters I liked that I just wanted to put into Rawhide.
And Snag, like Terra, I just like greaser characters. I think they're cool.
Never really see him as a main character.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, well, you could be a punk or just like a street urchin, but I thought a greaser would be way cooler and a little more unique. But yeah, like Rawhide, who's a little scrappy. Snag had to be a little scrappy too.
He's probably more
A
scrappy.
little. It sounded like I said Scrappy Doo. So yeah, wanted him to be a little ugly. So he's got a unibrow.
He's not ugly. He's cool.
I guess he's cool. Unibrow. He's got the Snaggletooth. So yeah, there was a lot of trial and error. Like
They went through a lot of different versions of them.
yeah,
We've been working on this for a while, so they gradually changed through
for sure.
the whole thing. But yeah, it's just trial and error, figuring out what works and what doesn't, simplifying, and some things just end up being better than what you originally had. So you never know what will stick and what doesn't with the design.
Sometimes you'll figure out something cool along the way, like Rawhide's hair in front of her eye. That came a little later.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's usually how we go with designing. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of thinking and trial and error, but I think that we're still gonna like think of better things for these designs as we go still. So
right, yeah.
There's always improvement.
If we make more, they might change slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Animating them also helps.
Yeah.
You realize oh man, there's too many stripes or too many little hair dangles.
It's like if they are not important, then they should probably go.
Yeah.
Next question.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the stare down segment in the pilot, would you guys be interested in putting more mixed media elements in future episodes?
Oh, totally.
Yes. Yeah, the stare down was I don't know. I just really wanted to do something with the stare down that was just out there and weird, and
yeah, that was your idea.
Yeah, I really wanted to do like a crazy. We got a bunch of our friends and people who worked on the pilot to do like a take and just make as many stupid eye gags as they could.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good way to do a mixed media thing, but it was such a short amount of time, and we had to get this done pretty quick that I wish we could have done more. But yeah, we love to try new mediums, and we have ideas for mixed media similar to like some shows that just kind of like bring it up out of nowhere. I would like to see that with this if we could.
It works for jokes or stuff like that. I always loved it in like SpongeBob or
yeah.
It just kind of takes you by surprise, and you're just like, what? Oh my god.
We would love to experiment more with that, and it would probably be seen more depending if we make more episodes or not. But yeah, we really want to put that into Gulch. Next question.
What's the next one?
When I was younger, I noticed a lot of cartoon characters had unique names I've never heard before. What inspired you to give your characters those amazing names?
Oh man. Well, thanks for liking their names.
Yeah. For me, I don't know why. Sometimes you're just playing a video game or just doing something and you're just like, I want to name a character this. And I think when I was in high school, I always said, I want to name a character Rawhide. I don't know who this person will be. I just want a character named Rawhide.
It kind of worked out perfectly for this.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, you didn't watch the show Rawhide or hear the song? Or
I knew of those, but I just liked the word and was like, it's weird. And when you think of Rawhide, you're like, what?
It just popped in your head.
It just popped in my head. I have a lot of those weird, like, words that I'm like, that should be a dog name, or this is a character name I want. So, yeah, I had no idea that Rawhide would be her name, but it was just in the back of my head that one day I would want to make that character have that name, and Rawhide was there, so she got it.
I think it's like, because we watch a lot of cartoons, you guys. We grew up watching a lot of cartoons, and I feel like,
Character's name is very important.
it's important, and you kind of remember it when it's different,
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine if SpongeBob was just named Bob.
Yeah.
So I think with Gulch, we just tried to get creative with it, and also it's a kind of a fantasy world, so I don't think too many people would have normal names.
Yeah.
Unless it was like a joke that, oh, this one guy's name is like John or something.
Yeah, but like we think about it, but then we also don't think about it because like, oh, Snag's name, he has a Snaggletooth, and that was just how we got the name.
Yeah.
It's very simple, but then we also thought hard about certain ones, like, oh, we wanted all of the mayors and jackalopes and the mayors of the past be based off of desert plants.
Right, yeah. So like, I think, yeah, for a while, like we didn't have a name for the mayor. He was just the mayor, but...
And I was like, that's boring. He needs his own name.
And yeah, it wasn't until we figured that tidbit out, and we were like, well, what? And we just looked through like desert plants, and one of them was rhubarb.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh yeah, I think that works for him.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Marigold and all of the mayors of the past are all desert themed, or desert flower themed. Next question. I remember seeing you post a sketch of Rawhide and Snag from 2010. Is that how long the idea of LGG is?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
had about that.
We had this idea forever. They were completely different. The idea was completely different back then too.
Yeah, it wasn't as fleshed out.
And,
I mean, it's kind of just something that happens when you work on something for so long, but...
It's pretty old. Do you have any advice on how to write a good story?
Well, I think for Gulch, it was just trying to think of a story that was good enough to showcase the characters' personalities, because this is the first thing everyone is going to see them in.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it took a while to
figure out how we're going to make this work.
I think what helped was show what they care about, and then show what happens when they lose the thing they care about.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happened in the pilot. So, Rawhide cares about being the sheriff, and then she,
loses her sheriffhood.
She loses her sheriffhood, and Snag cares about his comb, and then he loses his comb, and what happens what happens there, and then how do they
react?
How do they get those things back?
Mm-hmm. We just wanted everyone to see the characters and their personalities more than everything else in the story, just because they're so important to the story. And
when you have stuff like that, the characters go through a lot of emotions, and it just shows how they act with all those emotions. So that's kind of what we wanted to play around with. But I guess just try to figure out
what you want to tell.
Yeah, what your characters are all about, and how you can express exactly what you want to express with these characters. Mm-hmm. Like, do you want, try to write a story that that's perfect for that.
Yeah, figure out your tone and your humor for your characters too.
Yeah.
And then it'll come together, and then it's also good to show other friends or people and just say, hey, check this out, and then see what they think, just so they can get an understanding. And if they don't understand, then you have to be like, oh, okay, well, maybe if I do it like this, it's it makes it easier to write when you have someone you can bounce off of.
It's very good to get feedback, and it was great for us when we were working with Carl and Megan, trying to hash out the story.
Yeah, Carl and Megan helped write the pilot, and it was just great to have more than just me and Zach do the writing, just to bounce off ideas and see what works and what doesn't, and it's very helpful.
Animation is collaboration, as they say, I think. Someone said that.
Next question. Will Snag have a crush?
He already does. It's Ronette.
It's Ronette. Next question. How long was pre-production, planning, production itself? Was there any major hiccups? It took a long time to plan, to even showcase that we were going to do this.
For the Kickstarter.
Yeah, for the Kickstarter. I think we planned for half a year of what we would even show. and I think we did that short 1 minute animation just that me and Zach made in like 2 months to show, and that was like a part of the production, and just getting people interested and all that took a while too, and actually preparing it was, I don't know, we just had to make sure everything fell through with each month of like promoting it, and then eventually we got people into it. But yeah, it was very, very time consuming and lots of planning.
Which is, the Kickstarter in and of itself is like a whole other aspect outside of the production of the pilot.
Yeah. And if there was any hiccups, I mean, there's hiccups with everything, but there's probably things we'd do differently if we did another Kickstarter, or if we did do more episodes. We figured out what we would do to fix it and make it go faster, of course, and how to like make it run better. But while we were on Gulch, there weren't any hiccups really. It was very smooth, and everyone got their stuff and did their job and did a great job, and nothing got lost or destroyed or anything. It was all pretty clean and great crew.
Everyone was super cool. Yeah, no, like, was it Toy Story 2 situation where everything gets deleted and then one guy has it on their hard drive or whatever?
I think the only thing that was kind of like icky for me was getting the SAG guild stuff taken care of to get the main voices on, and that was a learning experience since I've never done that. But now that I know how to do it, it'll be easier to get SAG voices and the main cast back. And that for me, that was probably the hardest. It wasn't very much a hiccup, but it was just a hard thing to get through.
It did take a while for that paperwork and to get approved, I think. But okay, maybe we should explain that a little for people who don't know. But the Screen Actors Guild, it's a union for the actors, and most of the time, if we wanted to get
specific
voice actor, they might not want to do it because it's not a union job. So we wanted union actors, and we went through with signing up with SAG, so we can get those actors and they can have union pay and all that.
And since if you are a part of a studio, doing that is very simple and easy because the studio will do it for you. But since we were independent, I had to learn how to figure out how to do that on my own and make sure all the paperwork and everything was great for the people on board. So it just took a little longer because I was learning along the way. But now I'm aware of it, and it's something I have under my belt now. So if we want to do that again, we can. But that was probably the hardest thing for me, hiccup-wise. I mean, there's nothing really bad that happened with the production, so.
Yeah. But shout out to Matt Danner and 6 Point Harness for the help on the SAG stuff.
Yes, they helped us immensely.
All right.
Next question. What were things you wanted to put into the pilot that you weren't able to do to not having enough time to put it in? There was a lot of stuff. This pilot was maybe 40 minutes at one point.
I think so.
When we put all the animatic together, it was like 40 minutes, so we just had to keep cutting and cutting. But for me, I think the thing that I wished that we had more of was Snag. Snag kind of got a little backseat, and then Pinchley and Squatch's intros were also kind of shortened.
Oh yeah, cut down. There was like a whole scene where Squatch and Pinchley were like playing cards, and the cards are like stuck on Pinchley, and
there was like a whole thing of their intro to be like a bigger intro, but just for time and pacing and
the focus
and the focus of the characters, it's like I really wanted people to see them more and Snag more. I still think they still shine through, and people do say that they love Pinchley and got a little taste that they like, so it's cool that people still enjoyed those characters.
I know there was a scene where you actually see Mako and his gang escaping from the sheriff's station at night, and they like Pinchley is asleep with his eyes open, and I think they just like kind of push him into the closet and escape or whatever.
I forget.
Or he might have let him out also.
Yeah, and then I think Carl, who boarded the mayor, pretty much getting like talked down to principal scene. of them going to this office. He had so much extra funny dialogue back and forth with the sheriffs and him that we had to cut, which sucks because I loved a lot of the jokes, and there's still little bits of those jokes that are still in the pilot that were just kind of left there. So it's just funny how we couldn't keep them, but it's still sort of in there.
I think there was like a whole scene, or that scene, there was like a whole thing about table candy. The mayor had a little bowl on his desk with candy in it, and
the sheriffs wanted a piece, and then I think we had to cut that out for time, and the scene was just too long, and then I think when Mako's in the sheriff's office, he has the bowl of candy, and we just forgot to like have him not have that.
Yeah.
So he just has a bowl of candy in one scene, and we're just like, well, it's table candy. It's gonna be in there. It's fine.
Oh, there was the argument they have after the saloon kind of fight was supposed to happen somewhere else. So I think early on, Snag was going to have his own place instead of being at the sheriff's station, but we changed it because it's like, no, they should be in the same space just so there's less backgrounds. But
less backgrounds, and also just why does he have to go here? Then we have to go here and then go here again just for this back and forth.
Yeah, for simplicity's sake, he was supposed to have his own pad like on top of a giant cactus, and they were going to have the argument there.
But it was just too long and too much time spent, and it was, too much background count, so...
Yeah, a little unnecessary, so we made it just kind of in that little area that they're at.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, next question. For Tara, me. I never went to art school, and I'm trying to break into the animation industry. Any advice for someone who couldn't afford formal training? Yeah, so one thing people don't realize or know, because I don't really talk about it too much, is that I didn't go to school. I didn't go to college for art. I got multiple scholarships to go, but I just couldn't afford it. So instead I just saved money, went to Burbank, and hoped for the best to see if I could get a job. But I was always networking when I was young. I think I was networking since I was 13, and I just pretty much self-taught myself to draw. And whenever I see a tutorial or just artists doing their thing, I would learn that, and I just drew a lot, and I would post my work online, and I would talk to people in the industry and ask them advice when I was out
online
not really online, but when I moved out here, I would go to places where they would be, and I would talk to them and be cool about it. And I think the main thing is they just want to work with someone that is easy to work with. So yeah, it's you have to be good, but you also have to have a good attitude towards your fellow artists, and also be very versatile. That's one of the main things a lot of people should know is I can draw my own style, but I knew how to draw someone else's style so that I can work on a show, and I think that's an important thing to learn too. So I don't know, that's everyone has their own path and their own way of getting in the industry, and that's just how I did it for myself, but it could be different for someone else, and there could be other outlets that I didn't do, but you might find. So just learn as much as you can. All I did was draw and draw and draw, and eventually just found someone who wanted to work with me, and then because of that, I knew people from that job, and then I would move on to another job, and they would know me and recommend me for something else. So it's just, that's just how I did it.
And I mean, it's you definitely don't need to go to college to get a job in the industry, but if you have the opportunity to go to college and you can afford it, it's still good.
Yeah, I really wish I could have gone to college, but my situation prevented that. So, but I Zach went to college and he went to SVA, and I was just I want to do that. I want to have a thesis and make things and be around other people to learn. But I just did it in a different way, and college is great too. So if you have the opportunity, go.
it's not a bad thing to go to college.
Yeah. But yeah, the internet is amazing now, and you can find any tutorial or just any person making something that you want to learn. Just go watch it and just keep learning and keep improving, and that's all you have to do. And just keep posting, and someone will see your art, and maybe you'll get something that way, you know? But yeah.
I always thought it was impressive that you never went to a school to. I think you got a job before me. I think I was still in college when you got your first job at Disney.
Yeah, I was like doing comics, and then I moved out here and just to see if I could do it. And yeah, I think I was like 20 years old when I started at Disney. But yeah, it's depends on the person. It depends on your path. Everything's gonna be a different take for everybody. So yeah.
For sure. Do it.
Okay, next question. Regarding animation, what's the character that is the most difficult to animate? I would say Mako. Mako and his lower jaw teeth movements and his crazy angles, and everyone just...
He's one of those characters you can only see from the side. If you see him from the front, and I think there's some in-betweens where he is from the front, he kind of looks like, it's not a good look for him, but...
That's a lot of our characters.
Yeah, but a lot of older characters are like that too.
Mm-hmm.
They're very graphic, and we.
Yeah, we learned from that.
But Mako, yeah, let's see.
He was the hardest one for everyone to adapt to. Like, just me, like, inking him was like, oh my god, he has so many, like, points and...
Right, yeah. Who else?
Keeping track of all the teeth. I say he is, and Rawhide is hard.
Rawhide, yeah, she
has so many elements and pieces.
She has a lot of lineless attributes.
Sorry. I wanted to add that, and then I realized this is kind of hard for us to track, and it's making us like do more and take a little longer than we should have, because I wanted her orange hair to be redlined and Squatch's hair to be outlined in a different color, which looks great.
They're the only two characters that have colored outlines.
I wanted it on more, but
hard to do.
I just kind of told myself, no, this is all I could get for the pilot, because it just took too long for how much time we had.
But it ended up looking good.
Yeah, but I'd say Mako is the hardest for just lip sync and acting, but I think the animators really pushed both of the characters, though. Like, Rawhide and Mako's faces are hard to animate, but after a few rounds of giving people animation, it just was like, wow, I never expected to see Rawhide's face do this, and it looks amazing. Even, like, how Mako snarls or extracts his other row of teeth. It's like, that's amazing. Like, it came out so well, and the animators really, really knocked it out of the park with figuring the characters out as we gone along with the production.
Easiest to animate is the mayor, because he's just a little...
He's a little bean.
Just a little bean.
He's a little circle. Circles are easy to animate. Yeah. He was the easiest to clean up, too. I was just like, circles. It's so easy. Just a couple swishes here, and the mayor's done.
Yeah.
How did you get the ideas for having a land shark as your main character? That was on Zach.
I think I had drawn like a shark cowboy in my sketchbook a couple times.
2011, probably. 2010, maybe.
No, even before.
Yeah.
Even before, and I just thought it was interesting. So when it came time to think of characters for Gulch, it was like, oh, why not bring back that idea? And I feel like most people, if you tell them, hey, make a Western cartoon, and then they're thinking of the villain, they might make it a rattlesnake or a vulture.
The same stuff you see all the time.
But I think the shark thing is cool, because where else would you see like a shark in a Western setting? So
and he's such a good contrast to Rawhide being her baddie. It's like just so funny to see like this grown shark man, and then this little tiny spunky girl is his like arch enemy.
Yeah, what's he doing? That's kind of sad on Mako's part.
It is sad, but there's reasons. But it's just, I love the dynamic between the two.
It just the idea of a cowboy shark just,
Sometimes we just
made me
say,
excited.
this is really cool. Let's put that in. It's really cool.
Sometimes something is just really cool, and you just
Because it's
gotta-
cool.
because it's cool, and that's it really.
Yeah. How did you guys network these people to join in your project? Was it like going to CTN, Mixers in Burbank, or did people just volunteer to be part of the project? Probably a little bit of everything. Originally, we just were talking to friends at work, or just when we hang out, like, oh, hey, we're just going to make this thing ourselves. Like, this is what we're doing right now. And we would show people what we're, like, our scripts or just the characters. And they would just be like, oh, man, this looks awesome. And pretty much a lot of them would be like, I want to work on this.
Yeah, and some people we had in mind or who were already friends to, animate or do backgrounds or write, like Carl and Megan.
Yeah, and so we would have those people that said, I want to work on this, but then they would suggest people that they knew and be like, oh, I know a person that's a great compositor, or I know a person that's great at, like, coloring. Because of that, it's like a lot of the people we picked were just people we either wanted to work with already that were our friends. Most of them are just our friends that we just knew in the industry.
Yeah.
But there are a few that were suggested because of those friends, or because we just, like, saw someone like, oh, their style could be used for our show. Like, they seem like they would be a good fit, and we would just ask and say, hey, would you want to work on this? And if it all worked out and they could, they would be on it.
I want to say maybe like half of our friends and then half new people, and it was great to meet new people.
Yeah, and
that helped us on this. And
having people from, like, different countries or different, like, states. Like, we didn't care as long as they could do the style. It was pretty awesome to have all those people on board.
Yeah, we had a great crew for this.
Yeah, very small crew, but they were all super talented and did an amazing job. Rawhide, BW, Pinchley, Rhubard's outfits all resemble aspects of a classic Western setting, though Rawhide looks like a mix of a cowboy and a saloon dancer. How come Snag sports a John Travolta from Grease type of outfit? Is there an explanation in lore and production-wise for it? Well, Snag isn't from the Gulch, and that's one thing that we didn't really address in the pilot, but that's because we just didn't want to do an exposition-y origin story for the pilot, because it was just the budget. We couldn't really do it because of the budget, and we just really wanted to showcase the characters already thrown into the world already, just to save on time as well.
Yeah, with like an origin kind of episode, there's lots of exposition, and it's challenging to make that interesting and not boring. So we were like, well, let's save that if we do more. So let's just do an episode you would just grab out of the middle. So
but Snag is not from this world.
Yeah, he does say, what does he say? Back at the city.
There's little tidbits in there that tell you, or visually tell you, that he's not from there.
The image of a cowgirl hanging out with a greaser was something we thought was unique.
Yeah, he's very of the Mad Max fish out of water, but a different take on that, which we really wanted to do. What was the hardest part during the whole project? Any disaster stories that might have happened during the process that are funny to look back on? Like I said before, the guild stuff for me was probably the hardest part.
No, yeah.
But that's not really a story or anything, but...
Again, no disaster stories. The hardest thing was just...
getting it done.
Finishing it. I think animating, definitely.
I think the thing that we dreaded was just talking to people like, oh, how's Gulch? And we were just like, it's going. Like, we're still working on it.
Yeah.
Like, it was always annoying to tell people the same things, but that's just how it is when you're animating, and it's like getting done, but it's just annoying when it takes its time, and it's animation, and animation takes time. But I did love the part when there was a ton of animation coming in, and then we just saw we're almost done, like this is gonna get done, and it just like came like in a blink of an eye. I don't know if it was because of COVID or just because we were almost done and we just didn't see it, but when that happened, it was just like, I can't believe it. It's like, it's almost done. Like, we only have like a couple shots left. This is crazy. It was a very fun thing to look back on, where we're almost done. It's going to come out like in a month, and it's going to come out next week. It's going to come out tomorrow. I don't know if there's any other disasters. There's not really any disasters.
No.
Other than just having people wait.
Yeah.
We really, really, really appreciate everyone for waiting because it's.
I'm just glad it got finished because then
yeah.
all that like talking to people is coming out and then it doesn't come out, like that's embarrassing. But
yeah.
That's a good motivator also.
Mm-hmm. How did you find voice actors? Some of the voices we kind of just already like wanted. Like the whole time I always wanted Danny like to be Snag.
Yeah.
And it was just a miracle that he said, I want to be Snag. I'm down. I want to be a part of this. Like that was the most easiest voice to get. Like I was just like, oh my god, perfect. It's like everything is just perfect.
A lot of other people were also our friends, like Eric Bauza, Aaron,
Mike
Chillian.
Yeah, like I told myself to Bauza one time, I was like, if I ever do something with a show, I want you to be in it, and I want Aaron to be it, because I knew them forever as a kid and growing up, and I just never had the opportunity to use them for a voice until now, and now they're Marigold and Mako, and they did an amazing job, and I want to work with them more, and I'm just happy to have them a part of the project.
The ones we didn't know, we just have to reach out. Bauza hooked us up with
EG.
Mm-hmm.
And she was totally on board and loved the character and did a great job, and it was really fun getting to direct her. She figured out the character pretty well and got that raspy we wanted with her, but still with the cuteness, but she still sounds older than Tommy Pickles, but still sounds like a girl, but isn't like super cutie, like Buttercup being like a little kid. So she did a really good job at finding the Rawhide voice.
Amber,
I think you just asked her.
I think I just messaged her, and she was like...
She was down. She was like, I want to...
It was kind of a long shot, because she's like more of a TV actress.
Like live action.
She was like, hey, this is cool. Sure, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, whoa, okay.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, I didn't even... Yay, she responded, yay. And we were really happy to get her.
So that was great. She was amazing.
But yeah, that's how we just asked, and we just knew people that were friends already that did voices, so we just got like most of our friends again, just like the animation people. We were just like, we know you already. Want to be in it?
Yeah.
Okay, next question for each of you. What was your favorite part of the production?
I definitely liked working with the animators, but I think the one that surprised me the most was working with the music, working with Dom, our composer. Didn't really know much about kind of how music works. I just know kind of how it's supposed to work with the animation. That was pretty interesting. It was always like Christmas getting stuff back from Dom, because I didn't really know what to expect, but each time was like oh wow, this is what he did.
For me, I'm not sure. I mean, just working with everybody was probably my favorite. Just getting to have people add their talent into it and seeing it and teaching each other stuff, and
the whole thing.
The whole thing was fun. If Long Gone Gulch became an actual series, will it still be free, or would I have to pay every time I have to watch an episode?
It would be free.
Yeah, it would be free.
Unless you want to pay. Unless you want to send us some money.
Yeah, for the Patreon, it'll be done faster. But, I mean, if we release it would be free for everybody to watch online. So
yeah, we got you covered.
What's the animation industry like from a business standpoint?
It's like...
Next question. What are the main goals you want to accomplish with your world building? Which tropes do you want to include? Which do you want to avoid?
Well, above everything else, it has to be interesting. It has to be unique.
Yeah, we don't want it to be like everything else.
Yeah.
How can I make this something different or something that I haven't seen before? Even though it's a simple idea everyone's seen before.
Snag's not part of the world. So one thing might be a little more realistic in how he views this strange world. He's not just going to be automatically like, oh yeah, I'm totally used to all this weirdness.
Yeah, and he's not going to automatically be friends with Rawhide right off the bat. They're going to
develop a little bit.
Yeah, they're not going to just be like, we're best friends now.
Yeah, we really want to show the journey that they have with each other, becoming friends and kind of finding some kind of common ground because they're both from two different worlds.
Which tropes do we want to include, though? I don't.
What tropes do we like?
I just like, I guess, comedy that's funny and
Yeah, we love slapstick,
just witty
humor,
fast-paced humor is funny to
as
us.
well. I don't know. I guess like the tropes we don't like is when things are too predictable.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like even if we try to do an episode with a plot that has been done before, we want to do it in a different way or with a different outcome or turn it on its head.
What made you use Adobe Animate over Toon Boom Harmony?
That's because it's the only program I knew how to use.
Yeah, you were on Motor City and you learned all of that.
Yeah. I've always used Flash. Like, I learned it in high school, and when I started working for Titmouse, which was my first industry job, they used Flash, so...
On all of their shows at the time. And then you boarded in Flash on Teen Titans.
Teen Titans at Warner Brothers was also in Flash.
And then when we started Gulch, you just taught me how to use Flash, and it just made it easier for the production that we both just knew the program.
But it's just, just what I was comfortable with. I still like using it. I'm using it right now.
Is there going to be any new characters?
Yes.
Yes. Of course. There's so many characters we would love to introduce. Some baddies, some goodies.
Some weirdies. We have quite a few characters in the pilot alone. But
yeah.
There will be more if we get to do more.
Mm-hmm. Whose idea was the sentient tumbleweeds?
Oh, the Tumbleweedians?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was mine, just as a little thing at the beginning to kind of pique your interest.
Yeah, we were thinking of a lot of the creatures of the Gulch aren't real animals like horses and bulls and cattle. It would all be different representations of that for this world. So there aren't any horses in the Gulch, and there aren't any vermin or any of that stuff, really.
Instead, they're Tumbleweedians, or just like cockroaches or whatever, but they're tumbleweeds because tumbleweeds are kind of part of the Western zeitgeist. And I think it was...
Like cats would be like frilled lizards or deviled lizards.
Yeah, everything would kind of be set in this kind of Western frontier aesthetic. But I think it was Carl who came up with the name Tumbleweedian.
What were some of your inspirations for the music and overall tone of that show?
A lot of the music is just kind of surf music. What we wanted was, we didn't really want the classic Western Ennio Morricone type of stuff.
Seen it.
Yeah, it's been done, and
it's what everyone expects.
There's a little bit of that in here, but we wanted to kind of...
This is a different type of Western, so we want the music to feel like a different type of Western music.
Yeah, almost like remixed Western kind of, and that's what we found in Dom's music. Was it felt Western, but it was different. So when we got him on board, it was just like, all right, do what you're doing with your albums, because we love all of that. So there's all types of other instruments in there. There's some synth. There's a little bit of jazz. What else?
It's just a hodgepodge of stuff that we like and want to see in cartoons.
Yeah.
And he just pulled it off, and everything sounds amazing. And
I would send him pieces of music that we liked, or that we thought would fit with the scene, and he would kind of do something similar to that, or something with the same vibe. Or I would listen to his music and be like, all right, we like this part here from your song for this scene.
That made it easier for him, since it's already something he's already created.
Yeah.
And it gave him a good start out to make something new. What is the name of the planet world LGG takes place in?
The Earth.
The Earth?
The Earth.
Okay. Will the show touch themes like horror or have its own myths? Also, any considerations making story arcs? Yes, and yes.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we have a couple horror-esque episodes written out, and of course it will have its own myths. The whole The whole show is about myths.
Mm-hmm. We have story arcs that we will sprinkle throughout the episodes. We still want everything to be funny and be able to be funny on its own, but there will be a underlying story in the background.
Loose continuity that
comes back.
Could develop into an arc.
Mm-hmm. Are Quentin Tarantino and Sergio Leone cinematic, visual, and badass influences to the cartoon?
Yeah, totally. I don't think you can do a Western without thinking of Sergio Leone, and he's kind of what got us to love Westerns.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of DNA from him is in there. Tarantino also, who, is also inspired by Leone.
Mm-hmm. I've been a huge fan of smooth animation, and boy, is LGG smooth. Will it remain this beautiful when it's eventually greenlit? I would hope.
I would hope so. Whether, a studio picks it up or we end up producing it ourselves.
We would like to keep that quality intact.
As much as we can, there's always...
But we probably will have restrictions of how we're going to do it if we do more, and how we can make it so we can make them faster.
For sure. Yeah, that'd be another challenge.
How did you guys mentally, physically prepare yourselves for a project like this? First thing is, you have to be very into the project. You gotta really love the thing you're doing to want to do it, because you have to finish it.
Yeah.
It's one thing for saying oh, I want to do this, and I'm gonna someday do this, and then you just have that idea but never do it. It's no, we're always in love making the idea, and we always knew it has to get done. We need to do this much and do this and this, because it's if you get bored, then it's never going to be done.
Yeah, that's why this is the idea we went with, because it made us the most excited.
Mm-hmm. We still think about new ideas and new episode summaries, or just character traits that we want to finesse and do in the future. It's we're still thinking about these characters even when we're not, So it's you gotta really enjoy the thing you're creating.
So I think that's the most important thing when doing something like this.
Another thing is not everyone's gonna like it, and it's great to get feedback, and
for sure
you gotta just keep on creating and keep making stuff to get better,
Yeah, the good ideas will stick with you, and the bad ideas will just
go in the garbage
bin. Separately. Yeah.
Question: is Mako dead?
Watch the credits.
Watch the credits.
Watch the credits, please.
No, he would be a returning character if we made more. He's one of the main baddies, and we love him, and he will come back. Question: how are Snag and Rawhide so physically strong? Rawhide punched Mako so hard he crashed through the ceiling. Snag threw a comb so hard it sent 2 adults flying, and so on. They're rambunctious.
It's a cartoon, it's just cartoon logic. They're not like the Incredible Hulk or anything, but it's just...
They don't really have superpowers, but they are rambunctious and will throw a punch.
Yeah. If it needs to be done, Rawhide will punch Mako through the roof.
Is there anything you can reveal about how Rawhide and Snag met without spoiling future episodes? If we get to make more, the first episode will be that. What was the hardest scene for each of you to animate?
Hardest scene to animate?
Which one do you think would be the hardest?
Maybe it was the big worm scene that Jeremy did.
He killed it.
But, to him, action stuff is his forte, but I had to do the in-betweens for that, and you had to help clean it up, and it was
it was a long
all
one.
These she's coming towards the camera, she's going behind the camera, there has to be different line weights for that, so there's just a lot going on. So
probably that scene. Yeah,
probably that one. Shout out to Jeremy. Thanks, man, you're amazing.
Will Long Gone Gulch be a series? If so, will it be 22 minutes or 11 minutes? So with the pilot, we're really ambitious and made the first episode 20 minutes just because we wanted to say so much and we wanted to animate a lot and show a lot, but we're coming to the decision that maybe we'll make them 11 minutes.
Yeah, it's a lot more manageable, and
we can get them done faster.
The shows that we've worked on in the industry have been 11-minute episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could still say a lot
Mm-hmm.
in 11 minutes.
So if we got to make more, they'd be 11-minute episodes.
Mm-hmm.
My theory, Snag is a chimpanzee in disguise.
Who told you? How do you know this information? We might have to investigate that.
How was the finished pilot compared to what you guys originally had in your head?
I think it came out different than I thought, but better.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Just I didn't think the animation would come out as good as it did.
Yeah, the animation blew me away when we started getting stuff back. I was just like, wow, this is like really good.
I don't know, I guess I didn't think we would get all the voices we wanted.
Mm-hmm. That was great.
So that's another thing. It exceeded our expectations. It really did,
Mm-hmm.
because of everybody that we worked with who
Yeah.
just brought their A game and really just made our dreams come true.
What advice can you give to someone who is also trying to get an animated series done?
Be prepared for no sleep. Also be prepared to, like we said, you got to really just be into it. Just try to plan as best as you can.
It's all about your project, so you should be doing the majority of what needs to be done. Like, Zach and I had to find all the people, and we had to make sure everyone was doing their work and getting things done, and you had to organize and train people to draw the way the animation needs to be drawn, and being able to organize all your materials and give everyone what they need for their stuff. And it's a lot of work. It's not just gonna happen. It's
being able to communicate your vision also.
You can't just say make it look cool and then expect your team to make it look cool. You gotta let people know what you want. Also guide them and teach them along the way. Like, I feel like because of this, we've learned so much about being in charge of a show that we're just excited if we got to do more. We can, like, I don't know, progress.
Yeah.
But
and,
yeah, it's a lot of hard work, and we were pretty much hermits for most of the production. Like, we didn't go to parties as much. We just worked and went to bed late, and it's a commitment. It's a very time-consuming thing, so just know it's going to take a bit. It's not going to happen overnight.
Also, try not to be a jerk.
Yeah, don't be a jerk to your team.
You got these people who are they're doing your thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
So just treat them well.
Yeah, it's just amazing that so many people wanted to help us out by making our creation. So we respect that and appreciate it, and hopefully people will do the same for you. How does it feel to watch something you've loved for so long be loved by fans?
It's
the best feeling.
Best thing ever. I don't know what else to say.
I'm just happy. It's like, yeah, it's at 2 million views now, and I'm just happy people are still like going back to watch it, and we keep getting comments every week saying what their favorite quote is or their favorite character and how much they love it, and all the fan art. We appreciate everything that people say about it. It really, really means a lot to us for all those late nights working and those regretful times where we just were like, why are we doing this? Should we keep doing this? It's like all that support does help in the long run. So we thank you all.
When you work on something like this for as long as you are, a lot of things go through your head. Mm-hmm. Where you're excited about it.
They're gonna hit it. They're gonna
and then
love it. They're gonna.
And then you're like, oh no, like, are people gonna hate it? Yeah. So it makes it all worth it that people enjoyed it. So thank you guys.
Thank you. What is that stuff that Snag was eating? I am thinking it must be chocolate or mud.
That's one thing I can't answer. Some
mystery goo.
Mystery goo.
How many references of Western movies did you use in the pilot?
I want to say not too much. There's the mouth harp, which is kind of for a few dollars more, but we kind of tried not to
reference.
Not to rely too heavily on references.
Yeah, we have Becky Prim gravestone since Carl Hadrika worked on it, and we have Megan's Boyd's little seagull skull in one of the scenes. But other than that, it was just little hints of things, but nothing too too much to draw away from the cartoon. There are a couple things that we did put in there that people still haven't figured out.
That's true.
Like I have like a Simpsons reference in there that no one's pointed out yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, we tried our best to make it very few references to set it apart.
Yeah, we just wanted to make our own moments and have this stand on its own merits.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sure in the future we would love to play around with more things we like and put it in there.
Yeah.
Has LGG helped you become a better artist, and in what way? Big time.
Let's see. For one, it helped us really think more about story.
Yeah, we became better writers because of this, and the way of thinking of how to create a show. It's always hard to just jump into that, but this and making this project really taught us, like, this is how it works, and you have to think a certain way to move the story along, and things need to be cut, and things need to be showcased, and we learned all that on this, and I feel like we're better storytellers because of it.
Helped me draw better, too, because I was doing all the key poses for the animators, so I had to keep
everything on model.
Keep drawing and draw good drawings. Make sure they're solid and interesting, because that's what will be seen in the end. So helped us get better at talking to people, communicating our vision.
Favorite cryptid?
What's your favorite cryptid?
I don't know. I don't have a lot of favorites of a lot of things. Like, I just like a bunch of things, but I guess in ours, in GULCH, I loved the Mothman with the poncho wings.
Yeah, he's
and
cool.
We didn't really show him off in this, but I like the Chupacabra also. But there's some obscure ones that I want to look into that are my favorites that we didn't put into this yet, but I don't want to spoil them.
Yeah. I love Mothman and Flatwoods Monster, which we have in there. The Hopkinsville Goblins, we put those guys in there. They're fun. Sasquatch, I mean, he's the big one. Squatch.
Yeah, Squatch is in there. That's
Is
it.
that it? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for submitting your questions. If you liked this, just let us know if you want us to do more.
Yeah, hopefully this was entertaining. This is like something that we don't normally do, and we're still getting adjusted to talking and giving you our advice and input. And hopefully you guys got something out of it.
Yeah, we really want to keep making stuff, and
we appreciate all of our supporters that have been helping us and enjoying our stuff, and we want to make more, so hopefully we can do that.
Yeah. So yeah, the Patreon is Lopside Animation. It's out right now. Thank you guys so much, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thank you guys.